Alright, so welcome back to Dreadnought Redux Part 17. I'm not sure if it was at 17 or 18 for the original Dreadnought series, where I ended up nuking it because of that whole Copa thing. No one's talking about that anymore, but I still mention it because it's part of the history of this channel. Anyways, so I figured I'm pretty close to finishing this up, and this deck up here is just about done. So I figured, since there's probably not going to be as much work left, I might as well do just a, kind of combine the last finishing touches with a bit of a bit more of a as I do it kind of thing. So, yeah, that didn't quite go according to plan. Must not have been a good estimator of time there, seeing as I thought that was going to take maybe 10-15 minutes, and it took a couple of hours. So this is sped up 20 times again, just to, see if I can't make the pacing a little faster, videos a little shorter, whatnot. If y'all like the shorter videos, please comment. If you want them longer, again, feel free. So there, I'm just doing quite a bit of touch-up with these shower rooms. I ended up using the darker blue that I have to kind of cover up right at the floor, or either glue or otherwise, otherwise paint from the figure I had painted had gotten in the wrong place. And after doing that, a bit of that, what I ended up doing is, I ended up, what else? I noticed some other stuff. I think there is a point where I start, okay, so here I'm thinking of adding in a green color to places that it missed when I was painting it in places. That'll happen if you're masking. Then I'm painting walls where they should be gray. And I also eventually end up painting a lot of the machinery in that shop. So the walls where I paint them gray, I paint them that same gray that was it. I think Dawnstone is a color from Games Workshop. And then where otherwise I paint that Castellan green, or because it's so close to the Tamiya green that I use for spraying. It's not perfect, but it's close enough that if you're like not exactly looking for it, there's a good chance you can miss that slight bit of miscoloration. So that black paint I think is nope, that's for when I did the coal. So I did some coal in places, added some glue in places, and then proceeded to put on the rocks and then paint it black to make it coal. The coal that they got at my local hobby shop is just too big for this scale. Otherwise, I'd consider using it. But it just wasn't quite looking like it'd be the right type of thing. Unless we expected these guys to be like He-Men and lift giant boulders of coal, which wouldn't work. I was hoping to maybe do a video where I just talked and at the same time modeled without any time lapse, but looking like that's not really a thing that's going to happen for any project, just because, well, to be honest, a lot of hemming and hawing, thinking, how do I do this, how do I do that? And then, of course, there's the fact that all our times are valuable, and this took over an hour to do. So then I did some more things, and here I had a good idea. So I learned a little lesson here. If I want a space to look more lively, add more people. So when I added it to this level of the boat, I ended up, that's the one that's all green with a sick bay on it and stuff. I found that really just made everything look so much more realistic and like people were actually doing stuff on this boat. So I'll have to remember that trick the next time. And there I found a fly, and fortunately the fly flew away before I made him go from a fat fly to a thin and then dead fly. Yeah, I don't have any raids, so I figured might as well use the next best thing. And there I'm just gluing in those people that I mentioned before finally painting them up. Alrighty. So I figured I'd go back to the first kind of camera angle I had done when I was thinking that this was going to take only a scant few minutes, because, well, I think that this is the part where it actually will only take a scant few minutes at this point, and then I can have kind of a lessons learned section, and where to from here, I guess. So first I'm just going to go ahead and I think I'm actually going to add to this pot since it's a little fresher. And then I'm going to go right back to time-lapse because this took like another 20 some odd minutes. So again, fine-tuning, adding little bits of paint to cover up any places where paint didn't quite go proper, as well as completing some of the details on the on various officers and such. And what I also found out is I finally found out why those Games Workshop bottles are made the way they are. That little thing inside is actually to catch paint, so when you lift it up, it's a small thing you can dip your brush into, so you use less paint overall, which I thought was pretty cool. Alright, as you can see, I laid everybody out. And well, I've definitely learned some good lessons here that I'll be taking to the next segment. First is, well, I definitely like the idea of using the shorter wall segments, even though they were a little tall. They would have been a little taller, because these tend to bow and bend a little bit. Doesn't really make it easy for to really line it all up. Guess another lesson would be, that I can be a little more willing to sacrifice accuracy if it means aesthetics, because this is, again, supposed to also be something of a work of art. So there we go. Oh, another thing is more people is more lively, and I should have thought of that here as well. Another thing is I should definitely find the features that go through all the decks. Do those and their through holes first. And the reason I ought to do that is so that there's that continuity and all the other stuff that needs to line up matches up that much better. As you can see, this actually matches pretty well to this, even though this is a bit muffed up. Here, though, you can tell it really doesn't match up nearly as good. Again, though, this is also part because this is a skill. This type of model building is a skill set, and I'm developing it. So, all right. So there's those. So besides the obvious, take a bunch of pictures and kind of as a this is my progress so far. Where to now? Well, I've got a couple thoughts. One is I could merge some of these compartments, and by merging them, I'd be able to have a better extended deck layout, what have you. But it's not like it's gonna, be... I don't think it'd save me as much time as it is in my head. Because if so, these are smaller, but at the same time, even though it'd be, these segments are smaller, and combining them to larger ones, you fill more of the boat more quickly. I mean, there's also the amount of rooms is going to increase too. I guess the other thing would be, it was definitely good that I went to a shorter height, because this is all going to have to fit with the deck on top, and as you all saw with this first set, this pushes the deck up that little bit. I mean, yeah, it's great how it just practically goes flat to the rest of the boat right here. That's not what you want. You want, like, to give it a little bit of give. And this little bit of give right here was, what really was needed. Actually, didn't do too bad adding heads, on second thought. Yeah, third thing is the little details really do help to sell it that bit more. I'm happy that I added dinner plates. I'm happy that I added heads to the people. And of course, adding, insignia on the uniforms is always nice. Or not insignias, but whatever those frilly things are. Like, they might even be called frills, I don't know. What else? Other than that, the increased amount of planning that I took and the greater thoroughness of making sure to include every little detail and even trying to think out how actual things are laid in 3 dimensions was a big help. And I've mentioned it before, and I'm sure I'll mention it again, but the finding those parts of the model that go through, you know, other decks is going to be really big. Especially when I do the Bismarck, because if you look at the box, you see that that little thing right there. Maybe you can read it out. It says bonus. It looks like a picture of a turret with its insides. It's a picture of a turret with its insides. So I actually have something I could use as a template if I wanted to be kind of a cheaty SOB and have the turrets, you know, in there easy, if you will. Actually, my thought would be for next time what I should do is have some, you know, general plug to look like the turret. And when I'm doing the cure for the model, when I'm putting in, you know, the resin and stuff to make the little plugins, what I should do is plug those turrets into their respective positions, put the deck on top, and do that. Of course, the hard part, the bad part, is that this resin generates heat, and that runs the risk of me warping that. So I have to really think about how exactly I want to go about that. It might be worthwhile to get some air dry clay or something. That I don't know. But that, again, is neither here nor there. What is next for this, besides hemming and hawing about how exactly I want to continue the further segments, will be to continue the further segments and to make some arrangements for some photo etch gear, because I'm just about out of photo etch. Alright. 2 compartments down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5. Yeah, I'm skipping this very front one, by the way. 5 compartments to go. That is cool. That is cool. That I like. I like that a lot. I might even just skip both of these right here, you know. But that's the... we'll see. Alright. Cool. So again, I'm Rich. Thanks all for watching my little YouTube channel. I'm hopefully enjoying my rant. And like, share, subscribe. Hooray! Peace out.